trying to change what I've been trying to say. Words don't come straight from my head to my mouth. It's such a shame that it fell out of place. Was never me that was bringing you down. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? Been trying to change what I've been trying to say. Words don't come straight from my head to my mouth. It's such a shame that it fell out of place. Was never me that was bringing you down. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more?
Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you along to round 5, qualifying for round 5 of the AGT ACC GT3 Championship. That is, once again, a mouthful. Try and say it 2 times fast. We dare you. We are at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit this evening, as we said, for qualifying for our endurance round, a 2-hour race that our drivers will take on solo. That's coming your way next Friday, but tonight we get to do 3 stages of qualifying. One session will see us eliminate everyone outside the top 20. Then we'll take that 20 down to 10, and then we'll go for a top 10 shootout. We've done those a few times here at AGT. Drivers will be left to their own devices for 1 whole lap as they get the track to themselves. What sort of times can they do? We will find out. My name, of course, is Isaac Fogarty. It's a pleasure to have your company here this evening. And alongside me, once again in the booth, is the Flying Scotsman himself, John Wright. John, very good evening to you. Looking forward to this qualifying session this evening.
Indeed, I am. Thank you very much, Isaac. Welcome in, folks. Hope you're looking forward to this one. An absolute pleasure to be here once again. The Flying Scotsman. I like that. Although there is a very, very, very old train called the Flying Scotsman, so I think he might be calling me old. I'm not sure how to go with that one. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and it's absolute pressure. I mean, we talk about the pressure of being out on track. Is it better to be the hunter? Is it better to be the hunted? This is pressure, especially at the top 10 shootout with 1 lap allowed for the drivers. You can see on screen there, a track 5.1 miles long. They've got 15 corners to navigate, and every one leads to another corner here. The Nürburgring is very much a set-up track. As we can see there, Isaac, 20 minutes for the first session, 15 for the second, and then the all-important top 10 shootout, that lone lap the drivers have to navigate. I mean, yeah, I would be sweating bullets at just the thought of that. Not that I'm ever going to be in a top 10 shootout, so it's something I don't ever have to worry about, let's face it. But yeah, that's it's a whole different level of concentration that the drivers need to make sure they get it nailed on that one flying lap that they've got to get the job done and try and take pole position for next week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very important that's qualifying. We've seen a couple drivers as well in the past come undone in that 1 lap session. There's so much pressure on these drivers. And just to make it a little bit more pressure, we did have prize money up this evening for our pole position sitters. So part of our new prize money structure this season, is that there's prize money up for the pole sitter in both the Pro and Pro-Am class. And then there's prize money on offer for the victors next season. Oh, sorry, not next season, for the victors in the race, I should say. And that was supposed to be, for this evening, $50 for the Pro class pole, or overall pole, I should say, so whoever sticks it on the front row. And then $25 for the Pro-Am class pole sitter, provided they did not score the pole position on the front row. Now, we have had, just before we went to air, John, an anonymous donor has doubled the prize money. So if you get pole this evening, that's $100 coming your way. And if you get the Pro-Am pole this evening, that's $50 coming your way. So it raises the stakes a little bit for these drivers tonight. Just gives them something a little bit extra to try and live for, as if getting pole for the 2-hour endurance race was not important enough. I think it's just become all that a little bit more important.
Yeah, I've suddenly got something very very important to do, Isaac. I just need to quickly. What's the driver password to get in the server? Sorry, asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, it raises the stakes all the more. Prize money on the line, and of course, pole position next week, because the championship is as close as it gets. We've seen some interesting results so far. There's been penalties. There's been drama. There's been incredible performances from some of the drivers and the teams as well. The team championship absolutely on the line. So yeah, just adding that extra bit of pressure on the driver's shoulders. Why not? I mean, it's a nice sunny day out in Germany. Let's make them work for it.
Exactly. The weather could not be... It's just a little bit warm out there at the moment. 29 degrees, 37-degree track temperatures. That came down a little bit from practice as they get into this qualifying session. But look, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. Just before we do jump down for qualifying, let's have a look at our driver standings. Look how the points are shaping up after 4 rounds. So Josh Struick will lead the way in the championship from Mazzinetti. 18 points is the gap between the two of them. And that's a fair gap back to Simon Bishop, who won't feature this round. He's sitting this one out, so we won't see him tonight or next Friday either. He's 96 points back. No doubt that will change coming out of Germany next Friday night for sure. Aiden Holton sits in P4, 139 points behind. Then Braden Henderson in P5, 168 points back. Max Silver in P6 also won't feature in this round, so he'll drop down in the points, I'm sure. And Matt Simmons sits in P7, and I can confirm he is out there this evening and looking quick. So can he take this opportunity, jump up in the points for BCG3? Down in the Pro-Ams, it is Bowen Piper that leads the way, 73 points clear of Josh Gordon, and then James Barton another 79 points back as well. So pretty close between second and third. Can they make some inroads on Bowen Piper this round? We'll have to find out as qualifying takes shape this evening. And it's Mick Toward for TTR Westside. Mark Hurley in P5. Riley Nicholson and Rowan Green rounding out that top 7, looking pretty feisty as well. Speaking of feisty, let's have a look at our team's championship. So 25 points separates first and second, and then it's some 400 points all the way back to P number 3, Team XV Primer. But if you look at those points gap, folks, it does get, it's quite close between 3rd, 4th, 5th, and even P6. There's not much separating these guys in the middle of the top 10. So everything is up for grabs this evening in terms of track position. So the next 2 Fridays, John, are going to be crucial points in getting the teams championship well and truly alive for some of these teams in the middle of top 10.
Yeah, they really do need to start making a charge. Now, as you say, it could not be closer up at the top between BCG and CP Motorsports. 25 points separating them. They do have that big gap back, but then there is 0 gap between the teams from 3rd onwards, especially from 3rd down to 7th place. Defy Motorsport, Max Silver and Max Honeybun, the 2 Maxes there in 7th position. Silver won't be here for the race, so those are going to be points lost. Defy Motorsports could find themselves in an inter-team battle with the 2 of them sitting 7th and 8th at the moment. That's going to be very close between the 2 of them. We'll see if there's any team orders come to the fore towards the end of the season, although I'd imagine Piper and Dawes will be keen to get ahead of Silver and Honeybun. But yeah, BCG and CP Motorsports up there at the top with only 25 points separating. I mean, there's only 18 points between the top 2 drivers in the pros, and we've got 25 points between the top 2 teams. That is incredible. It's an absolute knife edge as we're, and we're only halfway through the season. So a lot of points still to come, and a fair old battle. It's going to be tooth and nail right down to the end of the season to see who walks away with the crown.
It absolutely is. Well, we are about 9 minutes into the first qualifying session now. We've spent a little bit of time catching you up on how things look in our teams and drivers' standings. Now, we're going to head down to the track for the first qualifying session. We'll bring you the last 10 minutes of this session, and I can tell you now, it's looking pretty competitive up the top. It is very racy up there at the moment. You can see Matt Simmons on our screen just not long ago set the fastest lap of the session, a 54.4. The qualifying lap record around here at 54.1, John. And he is looking quick. Mazzinetti's back in the pit lane. So I'd say we won't see much more from Mazzinetti. 5 sets of tyres across all 3 sessions. So they get 2 for this session. This session we're in now, 2 for the next session and 1 for the shootout. However, if they save a set of tyres here, they could have a 3rd set of tyres to help them out in the second qualifying session. So it's interesting here what they do with the tyre strategy, and I suspect as Josh Struick jumps up to the top and has almost, it was only just, I should say, beaten Matt Simmons, I will suspect that we'll see some fairly competitive times, but only a lap or 2 out of drivers in this session to make sure they look after tyres in Q2.
Indeed, yeah, they're going to be looking to nurse those tyres. They're also going to be trying to get some tyre data as well, because ACC is affectionately known, or unaffectionately, it depends which side of the fence you fall on, as a tyre pressure simulator as well. So getting some extra data on the tyres at the moment with the 37-degree track temperature, not too bad an idea. So it's a bit of a gamble. Do you save a set of tyres for quality 2 to make sure you get through to the shootout, or do you burn through as much rubber as you can in the first session to make sure that your pressures are absolutely on point for the rest of the day? We've seen a few of the boys up at the top. There's Struick, Dernetti and Barton all in the pits. I don't expect to see them back out again, given that we're only going to be losing, I believe, one driver. So the top 20 will go through, so it's only going to be one driver. Oh, 2 drivers, sorry, yes, Henderson and Breslin with no times at the bottom. I was excited by the spectators there, but there we go, yeah, so Breslin and Henderson not set a time. But we do see a big difference, because as you know, Isaac, you and I are both frustrated drivers. You are annoyingly quicker than me, which, yeah, I'm not jealous of at all, but there we go. But yeah, the Nürburgring, it really is one of these tracks like Spa. You really do see a bit of a separation between the drivers that can really get to grips with this course and the drivers that are, well, yeah, all you need to be is a couple of tenths off per corner around here, and it's very easy to do that, and you can find yourself miles down. That's why we're seeing such a big difference in the times that we've got. I mean, there's 300s separating the top 2, but there's 2 seconds separating the top 15. So yeah, I think some of the drivers up at the top, once they get themselves a benchmark time in the low to mid 54s, I think we will see them come in, maybe preserve the tyres, because the second qualifying to get into the top 10, that really is going to be a shootout for some of these drivers.
It absolutely is. Braden Henderson's just jumped up to position number 3. It'll all go on the line for the shootout. Braden Piper, jumps up to P number 5. Felix Breslin across the line. He jumps to 20th, so just on the bubble. Can Wayne Tanner, Rowan Green, can they improve in this session? Keep an eye on them to find out. This is Rowan Green on our screen right now. Haven't given him too much screen time this season, the 36 Grimace racing car. But they are McLarens, and we should give some TV time to the McLarens, given George Cook. There's a potential that George Cook is watching, and he is boss of TrackSpotTV, big fan of McLaren. So we'll give the big shout out to the boss. G'day, boss, if you're watching, and I hope you're enjoying watching your favourite car go around on the screen at the moment. The McLaren, they look very nice, and the livery, well, he's gone off the road there, Rowan Green, so you have to go back to pits and get another set of tyres. So he should throw a fresh set of tyres at this. We'll wait and see exactly what happens. We get further into this session, but yes, 7 minutes to go. The question mark over what drivers have left in terms of tyres. I think there's a number of drivers that will be done, as Max Honeybun just drives into the pit lane in a very weird image there. Trying to look who's coming to finish a lap. The 308 car, Daniel Wood, Ferrari, round in the final corner. One of our pro entries we haven't seen too much of this season. Is this an improvement, or it might be a beginning of a flying lap? I believe he is beginning a flying lap. So he'll get started here. Try and move further forward up the field. Ben Sayers also on the bubble. Jumps up another spot and displaces Xander Stewart. So 2.1 seconds away. I think everyone at the top end here is pretty much done. Braden Henderson's still going around, but I don't know if there's going to be too much of an improvement there. It seems that everyone's pretty comfortable with the times they've set at the top. I don't suspect any major fallout for anyone inside that top 10. I would say if you are 15th, there's probably a good chance you're safe here. Everyone 16th and below, there is potential if everyone beneath who improves, because there is a lot of room for improvement with these guys, and we know they have the pace. They could improve here. They could displace a driver or two.
Yeah, I'm just looking down the field, as you say, it's pretty close. Up at the top, it's very close, but yeah, just down on that bubble from 14th down to 20th, certainly 14th, 15th and 16th, they're all right on top of one another. Max Honeybun looking pretty quick in his Nissan. I'm just keeping an eye on his lap at the moment. He's just coming down the hairpin, and he'll be up through the Schumacher S. He's bang on 2 seconds off the pole time. As we do see Xander Stewart come out the last corner. He's crossing the line. Will he see any improvement to move him further away? No, he's not. Just a quick note as well, though. Just because George Cook is a big fan of the McLaren, it doesn't make him a bad person. He just has terrible taste in cars, that's all. But yeah, so 19th place.
Had to get that out there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, was a Forza Ferrari fan. Absolutely had to throw him under the bus as often as possible. It's kind of in the rules.
Fair enough.
Oh, Honeybun's just touched the gravel. I think he's just invalidated his lap. It was looking like a quick one too. Bob Nolly. But yeah, really, it's all about Preslin and Tanner at the minute. These two are only separated by 38 hundredths.
It
So
is close.
absolutely nothing separating the two drivers in 20th and 21st at the minute. So
If anyone's driving, oh, there he is. He's doing a bit of lawn mowing.
Oh.
So he's gone off the road, it seems, at the final complex corners. He's done a little bit of lawn mowing to make sure that grass is nice and trimmed for everyone else later in the sessions. But we cut to, this is Sheepers crossing the line. Stone Harbour, what can he do? On his lap, does he improve? He does not on that occasion. Stays in 13th place. The 97 car is actually about to come around and cross the line. Will this be an improvement outside the bubble for Wayne Tanner? 4 minutes remaining in the session. It's not. There's a chance that could have been an out lap, but we'll keep an eye on it. 36 car down the bottom is on a lap here, hoping that he'll be able to improve after making that mistake in his last flying lap. He's put a fresh set of tyres on. He's going to try and go again.
indeed, sorry, I was just geeking out at the purple sectors there once again. Surprise, surprise. Porsche's doing well around here. So's the Mustang though. Bone Piper down in 5th, the fastest car through sector number 3.
Yeah.
So it certainly holds good sway for the Mustangs that we've got in the field. Of course, as we mentioned last week, big mix in the cars. It was one of the questions I was asking the drivers about the difference in cars between the pros and pro-ams. There's certainly been a split in what we've seen, not too much crossover in the cars. Tanner though down in 21st place, he is in a Mustang, so he will be looking for a quick sector 2 to try and get himself ahead of Preslin. As we see, is that Green crossing the line? Yep, doesn't go any quicker. Oh, and Tanner's gone off.
Gone. That could be the session for Wayne Tanner.
As well.
Will we see him come back out? We'll have to keep an eye on it. That could be the session though for him. Donetti, thanks to BCG for installing a screen in my car. He's obviously very, very busy and focused on Q2 in that pit lane at the moment, as he sits in 4th at the moment. So only P4, Matt, in this first session, but I believe it's my understanding that he only did one flying lap, if I'm not mistaken, or he only used one set of tyres. So he's only had really one proper crack at this, and we'll see him hopefully later on in the shootout against what looks like it's going to be a very, very competitive shootout this evening, John. The times at the top of the table look very close. Less than a second between the top 10 at the moment. No doubt that will come down throughout the shootout as well. When you have the track to yourself, it's be hard to get a reference on what everyone else is doing. You just sort of have to rely on your own muscle memory and what you think is, or what you remember as being fast. And do the best you can. When you're out there in a session like this, you have other cars to sort of reference yourself off. Are they catching me? Are they pulling away from me? What does it look like in terms of where I am on track? But when you're out there by yourself, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yes, it really is. It really is. It's absolutely one driver, one set of tyres, and one elongated stretch of tarmac that they've got to go through. Although, yeah, with the tyres, they're going to be lucky to have any rubber left on the rims with a 37-degree track temperature at the times that they're putting in. It's going to be an interesting one. Green on track. Apologies to everyone in chat, by the way. I've been typing away in what seems to be a separate YouTube chat. I thought I was interacting with myself, but the chat is actually live. Good evening to everyone that is in there. I don't know how YouTube has absolutely thrown me on the bus.
Green.
Let's see if Tanner...
Green has just jumped up. Knocked Preslin out. So Preslin's on a lap at the moment. But Green has just jumped up at the death. Sorry to cut you off there, John, but he's just jumped up at the death and cut out Felix Preslin. So Preslin has to respond here in the dying minutes. This will be his last lap, I believe. I don't think he's going to get to the line to have another go. So he has to be up here. If he's not up, this could be the game for Felix Preslin. This could be his evening done.
Indeed it could. Oh, so close to Tanner. We're hearing from the pit lane as well. There is Wayne Tanner, I believe, in the chat. He's having brake pedal problems. So hence his time. So he is going to be eliminated with 27 seconds left. He is in the pit. So he has managed to get a time set. So congratulations for getting one set and soldiering through the issues. Let's see if Preslin can rob Green. He needs, just over a 1/10 of a second. Over this monstrously huge course. He is going to cross the line with 8 seconds left to go.
Just done it. He's found a massive improvement though. He is jumped up quite a considerable way, found almost 8/10 on that lap, which means that Rowan Green needs to lift here. So the ball comes back to Rowan Green's court. Felix Preslin has jumped back to the lane. He will not set another time. So this is it for Rowan Green. Can he set a time? He needs to find about 7/10. Not sure if he's going to be able to do that. We can't see his split time at the moment to see if he is up on his own personal best. But we will find out when he crosses the line, that is for sure. It is pretty much game over for everyone out there. This is the last spot outside the top 20. Rowan Green, if he wants to continue his evening, continue his qualifying run, he needs something here. What will it be for the Grimace Racing driver? He stays in 21st, does not improve his time, and that is where he will start from. He'll start from 21st next Friday night. But for everyone else, well, for Rain Tanner, his evening's also over. He'll start next Friday from 22nd. But for everyone else, Felix Preslin and above, they get another shot at this in Q2, which is coming up very, very shortly. Having a look at those times, once again, we are sharing around the fastest sector times, John.
Yes, we are indeed. We've even got a few drivers that have set identical times. It's something I know that is not unprecedented here at AGT. But yeah, 3 purple sector spread, and Bowen Piper down there in 5th place with that purple sector 2. That Mustang is going to be one to watch here. But the Porsches certainly seem to be the dominant car. What is that, 4 of them in the top 7? That is not too bad a showing for the German manufacturer on home soil. The Kaiser will be pleased, I can confirm. But Struick taking bragging rights, really, because at this stage, that's all it is, Isaac, for these drivers up at the top, really. Bragging rights winning the session. It's all about the top 10 shootout. Certainly for the top, I would say 15 or so drivers here. The drivers just outside, they'll be hoping to get a better starting position next week. But yeah, it's all about bragging rights here in qualifying 1. Qualifying 2 is where we really start to get to the meat of the matter. But Struick and Simmons, they are separated by 0.03 of a second. There's going to be a fair bit of meat on the bone between these two, battling away over the next 2 sessions.
And it's just been brought to my attention as well, and they are absolutely right, to the person in chat that pointed that out. Thank you. It's not a name that I recognise, I apologise, but I'm sure it's someone that is regular viewing, because they pointed out that 11th and 12th are actually identical on times. As I pressed the wrong button, I have to jump back to the pit lane, but I want to have a look at that timetable again, because 11th and 12th, so Peter Sargent, Michael Toward, have both done a 1:55.852. So once again, in a qualifying session here at AGT, we see drivers doing identical times. So drivers head back out now to do Q2, qualifying 2. They get 15 minutes for this run. What can they do in those 15 minutes? But yes, very, very interesting indeed. As we see that's what is identical lap times for these drivers.
Sheepers as well. Shout out to Sheepers. He's only 200ths behind. So those 2 drivers, that was the 2 I was alluding to when I said we've seen identical times, the 1:55.852. Shepherd's has done a 55.872.
Wow.
So exactly, yeah, wow, 200ths behind, and they've only got Wood. He is only a couple of tenths behind himself, so that is ridiculously close there. Honeybun and Norley, ridiculously close as well. Sayers and Stewart right on top of one another, with Presland right in the hunt there as well. So the times really are very, very, very close indeed. 9/10 separating the top 10, and then half a second back, and that is where we see Sargent and Toward. So the top 10 really are the top 10 at the moment, and I would expect at least the top 5 that we're seeing there to be in the top 10 shootout. From 5th down to 15th, it's going to be a bit of a crapshoot, to be fair. We'll see who the dice land for, but certainly Bowen Piper again, 5th place in the opening session, leading the way in the Pro-Ams with a fastest sector under his belt as well. He is going to be one to watch for the Pro-Ams. He just needs to keep doing what he's doing, and he should be bringing home that pole position, because that is a very good time that he's put in.
Absolutely. And yeah, just having a look at these times once again, I'm also using this opportunity to make sure that we are all square on drivers that are participating in this session, to make sure that No one accidentally jumped back out there, and I think we are all good. So we are down to 20 now. And there were 20, and after this session, we will take it down to our top 10. So positions 21 and above are now set. Now we will set positions 11 through 20 in this next 12 minutes remaining as drivers begin their flying laps. Now, it's a long lap around here, 1 minute and 54 seconds, so it takes a while to get out. You lose a lot of time if you have to jump back to the pits for any reason at all. The man on our screen, Josh Struick, 5 pole positions to his name so far this season. It's been a relatively dominating performance over the course of 1 lap for the CP Motorsports driver. Can he continue that trend this evening, make it 6 poles, which would be 3 in a row if he pulled it off this evening? Matt Zanetti, I believe, also has 1 pole to his name. Simon Bishop, who's not here this evening, has a pole to his name. And Matt Simmons, who is here this evening, also has a pole position to his name that he took in the first qualifying session in Japan for the Japanese Super Sprint. So it seems to be the qualifying sessions at the moment this season are very much dominated by that Porsche.
Yeah, it has been all conquering this season. I did ask a couple of the drivers, obviously, last week about their choice in cars, and the Porsche was just one that they really enjoyed. I know you've got your sadomasochists like Dernetti and the gang who like to drive cars that are difficult but fun. Absolutely insane.
He sent me a message earlier saying I've figured out the. We sent me a message earlier saying I figured out the Audi. He said I've managed to figure out how to make it take curbs. So I don't know what he did. So maybe he replaced the suspension, put a little bit of 4-wheel drive suspension in that thing. But he says he reckons he's got it to the point where he can take curbs. So interesting to know. But he does like an odd choice, doesn't he, that man?
Indeed he does. Indeed he does. I was going to crack another joke there, but I'll leave it alone. We'll go with Simmons and Dernetti once again.
And Struick up there as well.
Doing all the running in the session. They just don't mess about, do they? I mean, instantly a 54.4 and a 54.7 for Simmons and Dernetti. Struick pops himself up into the top 3. Usual suspects up there. And in fact, Barton at the moment, the lead pro-am ahead of Nicholson and Sargent. Elzine popping up there as well, and Holton getting a time set in 6th position. And yeah, we are down to the 20 drivers, and we've got 10 of them that have set times so far, with 10 minutes left to go. So we'll see Henderson down at the back of the field. In fact, he's got a fair bit of the track still to come, so a few more times will be coming in momentarily, but a lot of the cars in the second half of the track. Who is that? Xander Stewart, I believe, about to cross the line in his McLaren.
Time set though.
No, so that was just a warm-up lap, so that's him now on to a flying lap, as we've got more Mercedes coming through the final couple of corners. That's a whole lot of curb. He's been taken there as well. Oh yes.
And across the line.
Got to take a lot of curb out there.
What is it for Braden Henderson? Invalid lap time, so he'll have to go again as well. Can confirm that was a flying lap for him, so he's invalidated it somewhere. Matt Simmons, does he improve? He does! There's a 154.2 flat, so that is a nice response from Matt Simmons after qualifying session number 1, where we saw Struick at the top of the timesheet. Struick back out there on a fresh set of tyres. Now, the thing to note here, John, is yes, they'll all want to just make sure they can get into the top 10, but it's also about the order in which you go out in the top 10. So all the drivers will want to go out. They want to be the last driver out, because that will be when the track is probably, I would argue, at its best. Track is cooling at the moment. We're down to 36 degrees track temperature, so a degree down from qualifying 1, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it does make a world of difference, especially in the temperature of these tyres. So if I was someone like Josh Struick or Matt Zanetti or Matt Simmons, I want to be on provisional pole, because I will be the last driver out in the top 10 shootout, and that can be a huge advantage.
Actually, yeah, that absolutely slipped my mind there when I was talking about the strategies for the qualifying sessions. You're right, yeah, finishing on the top spot does give you that advantage going into the final. Going into the final session, of course, the track's going to be a lot more rubbered in if you are the last car. Well, I say a lot more rubbered in. There's 10 cars going out, so it's not going to have the same track evolution as we're seeing from some of these earlier sessions, but certainly any advantage you can get especially when the top two were only separated by 0.03 of a second. Yeah, any advantage you can get is going to be gratefully received by the drivers. From what we saw in session 1, you're needing to go under, any driver under 1 minute 55.3 is in a decent position. So the drivers outside, setting times outside 1 minute 55.3, 1 minute 55.4, we're going to see them go out again just to make sure they get themselves into the top 10. Certainly that's where the split seemed to be from session 1, around about 1 minute 55.3 to 1 minute 55.8, of course, where we saw Sargent and Toward set at the same time. So that is what the drivers are aiming for. Anyone that's within that 55.3, I would say, is going to be looking good to make it through to the top 10. And then, as Isaac has pointed out so astutely, it's all about the running order for the final session. So it's almost like two top 10 shootouts back to back. To do well in the top 10 shootout, you need to do well in the session previous to that to get that running time. And at the moment, it's looking like Simmons and Dernetti up there at the top, and Simmons with a 54.005. Is that not a track record?
It is a track record, it is. So Matt Simmons, we missed that, has actually broken the lap record around here. It was held by Simon Bishop since season 1. A 154.127 is now a 154.005, and Josh Stewart tries to respond, but not quite able to meet the time set by the mighty Matt Simmons. Trevor Byers is watching. He's a fan favourite of Trevor Byers, Matt Simmons. He's notorious for being a big Matt Simmons fan, and he'll be very happy about that if he is watching along. And g'day to everybody that is watching in the chat. We see you all there typing away. It's lovely to see a lot of people jumping in, getting some support in for their teams, for their drivers. Prevail saying that Mama and Papa Prevails are watching along. We do love the family affair that this broadcast brings together. We have quite a lot of families, so Matt Donetti's extended family watching along. We have, I believe, usually we have Nitro's parents and his family watching along as well, Braden Henderson. And now we have Max Honeybun and his family watching as well. So g'day to everybody that's watching. I can see Max Silver in the chat as well. Gutted that he can't be there this evening. And Max Honeybun, for you, sir, is sitting in 17th place at the moment. Actually just crossed the start-finish line, so didn't improve on that occasion. Keeping a close eye, though, on what drivers have left in the tank for this qualifying session. Under 5 minutes to go now. We are getting to the pointy end of this session, John. Not a lot of time left. Drivers are starting to need to lift. Ben Sayers goes P19, 5 seconds off the pace at the moment. That will be not the most representative lap time I can imagine. Riley Nicholson's just jumped up into 8th. So he has thrown a lap down into position 8 and gets himself into shootout contention at the moment. But there is still plenty of time left in this session. Howard jumps up into P8 now as well. Displaces. Daniel Wood goes to 13th. Across the line. I believe that was Xander Stewart behind him. Does not improve on that occasion. The 100 car of Mark Hurley, though, is about to come across the line. Will he improve this time around? All these times are crucial at the moment. Is this an improvement for Mark Hurley? No, it's not. On that occasion, stays in P number 11. Bob Norley across the line. What can he do? Because he disappeared to, he's jumped up to P16. So just under 4 minutes remaining now, John. It's getting to that time. It is make or break if you want to get into the shootout.
Indeed, yeah, and Hurley's at it again. Hurley and Sargent this time have set identical times, 1 minute 55.645. Now, Toward, I did say somewhere in the 55.3s or better should be good enough to see into the top 10. To put that in perspective, Toward has done a 55.3 for 8th. Nicholson has done a 55.3 to get into 9th, and Barton has done a 55.5. So the guesstimation around the 55.3, 55.2 to guarantee a top 10 spot certainly seems to be playing out. We might see a 10th or 2 improvement on that, given that we've seen a 1 degree improvement in the track temperature. But more identical times being set, and it is as close can be. Certainly Simmons up at the top, getting the job done. But Matt Dernetti fighting back against the Mustangs in Sector 3. He's just set the fastest time of the day in Sector 2. He has gone quicker than Session 1's Oh, who's just improved?
He does. He said he doesn't improve on that occasion.
Oh, doesn't
unfortunately.
improve. Sorry.
On that occasion,
Right, okay, so he's
unfortunately.
not improved on this time.
So he did cross the line. So he went fastest in the middle sector, as you said, but he wasn't able to improve that time around on his best and spin for Ben Sayers at the final corner. So yellow flags are out. He jumps back to the lane. Hutton does not improve on that occasion. The 308 car does not improve. Across the line, the 115 car does not improve. Who's next to cross the line? We're going to keep up with this, folks, as best we can. It is Mark Hurley about to cross the line. A number of cars in the pits, so their sessions are done. Mark Hurley displaces his stablemate, James Barton, by 5/1000ths of a second, so just jumps in. Barton is on circuit.
That's wild.
Barton is on circuit. Can he improve here? Bob Norley's just jumped up a couple of spots as well at the death. Can he get himself into the 10? Andrew Sheppers, what can he do? Nothing at this stage, but still time left. Cross the line for Preslin. Simmons is also going to cross the line. Can he go faster again? He does not go faster again. I thought he was about to beat his own lap time. Braden Henderson, what has he got? Oh, he does improve, but not enough at this stage. Jump up any further. Can Sargent get himself into the 10? Does not. Who was behind him? That is this number 6 car, Riley Nicholson, stays in P9. So on the bubble at the moment, Mark Hurley, Riley Nicholson, Toward and Holton will not set another time. There are cars behind that are trying to improve, John. We have a minute remaining in this session, so the laps that they're on now, this will pretty much be it for these guys. I don't think we're going to see too many more drivers get another chance. Matt Donetti is about to cross the line once again. What can he do here? James Barton as well. Can he displace his teammate once again? Matt Donetti goes quicker, jumps up into P number 3. That will put him out third last for the shootout. Across the line for Barton. Does he improve? No, but he gets another shot, so we'll go again. Can he displace his teammate Mark Hurley? That is going to be the story of the evening, I think. What is going to happen with these last few spots? I would say P6 onwards is definitely set. Aiden Holton might also be safe, but Nathan Hutton, Michael Toward, and Riley Nicholson very much in danger as... who's just jumped up there? That's actually Nathan Hutton that's jumped up and displaced a multitude of cars. So Mark Hurley moves outside the top 10. Can he get in across the line? He does improve, but it's not enough to upset Riley Nicholson. So Nicholson on the bubble right now. What is going to happen in the back end of this session?
Absolutely no idea. Answers on a postcard, folks. Let's see what's going to happen here. The Astons are having an absolute duel at the bottom of the top 10 there. Hurley and his Ferrari with a near identical time to Barton. They're all still out on laps. I did say it was going to be ridiculously close here at the back end of the top 10. And the drivers here at AGT are absolutely proving me correct. So I love commentating here because I actually look like I know what I'm talking about sometimes. We've got, as I say, it's so close here. Nicholson with a 55.3.
Here we go. Can he improve here? He does not improve, so he stays in 10th. He's on the bubble. Mark Hurley has an opportunity here to try and knock him out. Across the line goes, on the grass goes Bowen Piper. He will not improve his time, but he is into the top 10 at this stage. Max Honeybun, the sole Defy 1 entry out there. What can he do across the line? Stays in 16th. Does not improve. James Barton in the Nissan GTR, the 91 car for Highland Motorsport 1. Is there anything he can do at the back end of this session? Will he improve? Jump himself inside the top 10? He does not. He stays in 12th and will miss out on the shootout. And a massive accident as he crossed the line as well. Potentially in frustration. And heartbreak for James Barton as he starts this race from position number 12. He will not start further forward. He could be displaced though by Bob Norley, who's still on a lap, but we ride with Mark Hurley right now. The 100 car for Highland Motorsport 2, the Ferrari. Can he get himself inside the top 10? He needs to find just over 0.2 of a second. Will this be a top 10 shootout for Mark Hurley? It is. He jumps up ahead of Nicholson and Toward. He puts himself inside the 10, P9. And across the line they all go, and that is our top 10, ladies and gentlemen, at the death. It is Mark Hurley into the top 10, displacing Riley Nicholson.
Absolutely insane. I did say a 55.3 should be... A 55.3 or better would get you into the top 10. 55.2 for Hutton in 8th. 55.3 for Hurley Toward, and
Wow.
for Riley Nicholson. There is nothing. There's 1300s separating 3 drivers on the bubble of the top
Insane.
10. That is how close this league is, Isaac. That is absolutely frightening. What a session. I tell you what, Nicholson and Barton have got to be, and Nicholson especially, gets a 1 minute 55.3, only good enough for 11th position. Still a good starting position in the grand scheme of things. It's an endurance race that we're qualifying for, but so close to that top 10 shootout, it is absolutely ridiculous.
Absolutely. So we'll have a look. The first car out for this session will be Michael Toward. He qualifies in P10. So we'll run you through who's locked in. So Riley Nicholson will start P11 for the race next Friday. James Barton, P12. Then it's Peter Sargent, Daniel Wood, Bob Norley, Max Honeybun, Andre Sheppers, Xander Stewart, and Felix Presland, and Ben Sayers all miss out on the top 10 shootout. Michael Tower will be the first car out, followed by Mark Hurley, then Nathan Hutton, Aiden Holton, Bowen Piper, the lead Pro-Am car in that session, Brayden Henderson, Adam Elzine, Matt Donetti, and Josh Struick. And then Matt Simmons will be the last car out in this qualifying session. And he has broken that qualifying lap record. Can he do it again in the top 10 shootout? The track's temperatures come down again 2 degrees to 34 degrees Celsius. And we now have a car on track in Michael Toward. It is time for the shootout, our favourite part of the day. It is the top 10 shootout, John.
Yeah, this is what separates the drivers from the skivers. We will see who takes the top spot. It has been incredibly close at the top and bottom end of the top 10 so far, right throughout the first 2 qualifying sessions, and it really is going to need to be a masterclass. And again, just a reminder, not only is there double prize money on the go, thank you very much to the anonymous donor who went and did that, but yeah, the top spot on the line, and you only get 1 lap, folks. You get a warm-up lap to get out there. Getting the tyres up to pressure shouldn't be too difficult given the track temperature. Keeping them there, though, might be because of the track temperature. It is very much a double-edged sword. You get 1 warm-up lap, and you get 1 flying lap, and that's 1 attempt at a flying lap. If you invalidate your lap, you're done. You don't get to then come out and set another time. That is you done with qualifying. So the top 10 shootout, it really is a shootout that the drivers have got 1 shot at. So, I mean, yeah, do you hold them? Do you fold them? Do you absolutely wring the neck out of? Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're maybe just as well to Isaac at this stage. If you're in the top 10 shootout, I mean, for someone like myself, that would be an absolute achievement all on its own. Some of the drivers here aiming for the very top spot, some of the drivers down at the back of the bottom 10. I mean, we could see a big upset here. If some of these drivers, Simmons or Dornetti, they push too hard on the tyres or push too hard on the curve, they could invalidate their lap, and we could very easily see some of the drivers with the slower qualifying times from Q2 taking pole position. Hurley, Toward, Hutton, Halton, as I say, they could very easily find themselves up at the top if the drivers at the top make a mistake trying to push too hard to ensure that they do take that prized pole position. That was an alliteration too far, it seems.
They sure do. Now, we have to talk about the man that's currently on his flying lap. So, this is Michael Toward. He qualified P number 10, so he's the first car out. He sits 11th overall in the standings at the moment this season in what is his first full season in AGT ACC. Fourth in the Pro-Am class, some 94 points back from Bowen Piper. But he has been very, very strong so far this season. Had some really good results and a strong showing pretty much every single round. There's a little bit of a round to forget last time out at Watkins Glen, but his rounds before that have been incredibly solid. And he's had shown time and time again this season the pace that he's had in this lap. Looks very, very tidy for the TTR Westside driver. He's coming to a new look TTR Westside this season. The departure of James Machen and Nick Carter, who've both moved across to PC with their triple monitors. No need to rub it in, boys, but they've jumped over, and as a result, he's stepped up into that TTR Westside team we know and love so well. And he has absolutely shone. Takes out the marker as he goes across the second curve in the chicane through the final corner now. For Talbot, it's been a very tidy lap. What does it look like for Talbot as he crosses the line? What will the time be? He throws the benchmark down. It's a 56.947. So that is an interesting start. And we now hand the torch over, the baton over, to Mark Hurley to get his lap underway.
Indeed, yeah. Toward is going to be gutted at that. He's had a half-second improvement between session 1 and session 2. He went from a 55.8 to a 55.3. He's going to see that as a huge backward step there. A 56.9, I don't think is going to be competitive if we're calling it as we see it, because, well, yeah, we've seen 54s. It took a 55.3 to get into the top 10. So, yeah, Toward, he certainly, it looked like a tidy lap. Unfortunately, it wasn't a quick lap. And that could see him sitting at 10th. And that will actually take the pressure off a bit, some of the drivers that are going ahead of him, especially with them being so close to so many of them at the end of Q2. Certainly Hurley and Halton will be feeling slightly less pressure when they're going out, knowing that they've got quite the margin of error there. So Toward, I think, is going to start 10th. That is my early prediction for that time. A 56.9, I don't think it's going to be overly competitive. I mean, it is still a pretty quick lap, but I don't think in terms of this top 10 shootout, it's going to get him any better than 10th place, unless we see some invalidated laps, which we very well could see. This is not an easy track.
We absolutely could. He did a 55.31 to get into the shootout, and a 55.31 also for this man on screen who got in at the death, Mark Hurley. Only just scraped into the shootout and now is absolutely wringing the neck out of this Ferrari across the curbs through the Schumacheresses down towards the back end of the lap now. It has been, again, a very tidy lap. Drivers will be focused on making sure they stay valid as well. They only get one shot, and if they invalidate, that is it for them. They do not get to go around again and have another crack at this. So they only get one. Everybody gets one this evening is the theme of the shootout. Through towards the final chicane now. Throw the car across the curbs. How much can you use the curbs in the Ferrari? Does use them quite nicely there. Into the final corner now for the 100 car. And what will it look like as he crosses the lines? It's P5 in the Pro-Am standings. Where will he end up? He does a 55.8, so a second clear of Michael Toward. And that is a strong lap time for Mark Hurley. And he has to be happy with that. Indeed, we'll go and pull off at the exit of turn 1, return to the pit lane, and now our attention now turns to Nathan Hutton. A couple stats about this man. He sits in the standings. He's a little bit further down at the moment. I'm trying to find his name in my list of drivers. He sits 21st in the standings. Hasn't had the best season so far, but he's looking to bounce back. And we've seen him do that time and time again. Got on the podium last time we were at the Nürburgring, albeit it was the Nordschleife, John. But he does have pace around here.
Yeah, he absolutely does. And he's going to need to put that to use. That's him just starting his flying lap. Now, Aston's have an almighty battle down at the bottom of the top 10. So it was good to see a couple of them sneaking their way into the... top 10 shootout. We've got 3 of them that are going to be battling it out at the moment as Toward that set that marker with a 56.8 for the Astons, but certainly the 55.8 is what Hutton will be aiming for. So at the moment it is a battle between the Pro-Ams. Bo and Piper, of course, is going to be in the driving seat in this one. The track's going to be slightly better, slightly more rubbered in. But it'll be Piper that's going, in fact, after some of the pros. So there's going to be some of the pros rubbering in the track for Piper as well. So he will be keenly keeping an eye on this particular lap, because Hutton is the last competitor in his class that's going to set a time before he takes to the track. They're both, of course, aiming for a 55.8. I would say they're aiming somewhere for a 55.2. That's going to be a competitive lap, certainly, to sneak you inside that top 8. To get in the top 5, clearly you're going to need to be in the 54s, and the low 54s at that, from the pace that we've seen from the pros up at the top. Hutton Certainly putting in what looks like a tidy lap there, using a nice amount of curves as he heads down towards Ad Van Bogen, coming up to the NGK chicane. Of course, the NGK that we use in this version of the track, not the Coca-Cola. It's the F1 cars with their the slightly less talented F1 drivers. We don't hold it against them. They do try their best, but we all know that real driving's GT3s. Around the last corner, Hutton does come, and across the line, needs a 55.8 to take provisional pole, needs a 54.2. Oh, and he's gone slower by 0.2 of a second almost. So Hutton, his best position at the moment is going to be third in the Pro-Ams, and again, outside the 55s. 56.
56-0 for Nathan Hutton. So does not improve on his position and will start at the lowest he can start now is 9th, but everyone else still has to set their laps. We turn our attention now to the CP Motorsports 1 driver, Aidan Holton. He's had a fairly impressive run so far this season, been consistent in all the races. It's the first time we've seen him in a full-time capacity. Sits 4th in the standings, both overall in the Pro-Am standings, and he's in a very tight battle with BCG1, both him and Josh Schuick, his teammate. They are thriving this season in the Porsche. This car is very, very quick, and they are showing that again this evening. He did a 54.9 to get into the shootout. Can he replicate that in the top 10 shootout in this lap? It's been proven a little bit difficult to match the Q2 time so far in this session, but this Porsche looks extremely gripped up through the first couple of corners. A little bit wide there. Hopefully there's no invalidation for the Porsche driver. Takes the late apex through turn 3 into 4 now, just out of 4. Down the back straight toward, well, one of the back straights towards turn number 5, the end of the first sector. Cleans up all the cones. Make sure there's no cones left getting his way anymore. I would have done that on my outlap, to be honest. Make sure they weren't there when I came through the next time, but he's taken them all out. Now we'll run down the hill towards the Dunlop curve.
That was a bit wide.
That was a bit wide. Will we validate?
Yeah, there was a bit of gravel come up there.
The drivers are being told to finish their lap even if they do invalidate here, John. So whether that's invalid or not entirely sure, but he'll push on anyway. We'll find out when he crosses the line.
Yeah, I don't think it was invalidated, but it is just the wrong side of wide to carry enough momentum. So I do think he's lost a bit of time through there. Bowen Piper, he is now out on track warming up as Holton is tearing down towards Ad Van Bogen, so he's coming at one of the faster parts of the track using the gravel again. We've got more in the chat. We're not going to read the message out, Isaac, just in case, but James Barton offers some dietary improvements or some diet tips.
Does he?
For the Nürburgring. Yeah, he is suggesting they try a different feed here at the Nürburgring, so whether they take that on board or not, I'm not entirely sure. We shall see. But Aidan Holton
Cross the line.
clears his way out of the final corner.
55.7, wow.
Ooh,
So not that much faster than Mark Hurley. So Aidan Holton only 0.06 of a second faster than Mark Hurley. And that is interesting as well to note. So the times, not as fast as we were probably expecting through this session. How much will that carry over throughout the field? That is the question that we will find ourselves answering as we go on here now. It is Bowen Piper. What can he do with his top 10 shootout lap? A very, very well-known driver within the sim racing sphere. Has sort of risen to one of his first, I believe it is his first actual full-time season here at AGT, and he's leading the points at the moment by 73 points over Josh Gordon. So he is well out in front, has really taken a shine to this Mustang, started on the front row at Indianapolis, and he has been quick throughout this season. Did if I consult my notes, he did a 154.8 to get into the shootout. He will be hoping he can do something similar to that, or at least faster than a 55.7, but he's looking quick so far, using the curbs. The Defy Motorsports guys in the chat saying, come on, Bowen, let's go. It's also known as Mo, so we'll get your support behind your drivers in the chat. He runs down the hill for the only time he will get in this session to set a representative time. Hugs the inside. That's a very early apex there for Bowen. It's entirely convinced of the line there, but I'm sure he knows exactly what he's doing to maximise the pace in this Ford Mustang, which has been really quick through this middle sector, John. He has absolutely flown through here.
He has indeed, yeah. The Mustang has proved to be an almighty competitor through sector number 2. It really can use the curbs quite well. As you say, it took a very tight line through that apex on the at the hairpin, of course, down through Dunlop Curve, as they call it, and it was, yeah, that is the line that the Mustang has to take. It gets nice and tight into the apex and then uses as much corner exit as possible. Oh, and he's gone wild. That's invalid. He's binned it.
Has to be.
Binned it. Yeah, that won't count, unfortunately. So there we go, folks. That's exactly what I was talking about. You've got to push it to the absolute limit, and Piper has invalidated his lap. And that will be no time set, so he will start 10th behind Toward. So Toward just getting a time set. I did say that. I mean, we could see a 54.2, a 54.0 take pole position. We could see a 55 take pole position if the drivers cannot get a lap set, and that is Bowen Piper. Heartbreak for him. It gets into the top 10 quite comfortably, but unfortunately it will start at the back of the top 10 after invalidating that lap. It's just so easy done. And Prevails was in the chat, was cheering on Bowen as well. Bowen head in hands there. That pressure that we talked about, it absolutely piles up. It absolutely piles up, and that is Bowen Piper. No time set, as it is now Braden Henderson in the Mercedes. We've got Nitro Racing hoping for a Merc pole position. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Let's go Nitro, our adopted Enduro son, says Prevails. So yeah, adopting the quick drivers. That's the way to do it. The way to do it.
Very, very smart. And look, he loves this place, doesn't he? Braden Henderson. When we did the Nürburgring race, the full Nordschleife, he won that race quite comfortably in the end. He's had very, very strong pace all season. Sits 5th in the points at the moment, which is not representative of the pace that he does have across the season. And he's a very experienced operator. We've had him in this league for a couple seasons now. The reigning king of the ring as well. He'll get a chance to defend that title when we go to the Hungaro ring later on in the season. He'll be able to put the title defense up for grabs. Can he remain king of the ring? But can he get provisional pole here at the moment? Looks very, very strong so far. This up a little bit of curb usage down at turn 1. Made it look a little bit uneasy for the Team XV Primer driver, but he's looked very planted since then across the curbs. That's a lot of curb usage. Oh, that's very, very messy across the curb. That has to be invalidated, surely. Yep. Braden Henderson, I would imagine there's no way that lap is still valid. That was so much curb, and so easy to get it wrong through there. And unfortunately, no, he does. He's kept it valid. He crosses the line of 55.5 for Braden Henderson. Goes to the top, 2/10 clear of Aidan Holton. That is just so impressive that he's been able to keep that together and keep that lap valid. And that is a mega lap to jump up to provisional pole.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible to take that much curb through the final chicane. I mean, he was right on the extra rumble strip there on the left-hand side. 2 wheels in the air over one curb, 2 wheels in the air over the other curb, and still manages to keep it between the Mayo and the Mustard legally to bring home and set himself on provisional pole. So he wanted the Mercedes on pole. We've provisionally got one. And yeah, certainly the rest of the drivers getting an idea of just how much curb needs to be abused in that final corner rise. Like, if they're going to be competitive up at the top, that could be the make or break corner for this entire session now.
Definitely it could be. And we now hand over to Adam Elzine, the young man. He's only about 15 or 16 years of age, I believe. Not that old at all. We haven't seen too much of him this season, John. But what we have seen has been very promising. He looks quick in this Porsche.
Yeah, he does. The Porsches have done well this season, but Elzine certainly has done exceptionally well. He's really been in the mix there or thereabouts. And again, with the way the track is and how competitive it is with it being a lone qualifying, if Elzine ends up on pole here with a 54.8, I don't think I'm going to be overly surprised, to be fair. He has been quick, he has been consistent, And I certainly think the temperament is there, which is one of the things that's going to make him a real worry for drivers in the league with the age that he is. If he's got that type of temperament now, yeah, it really bodes well for the future.
It certainly does. And he is looking very strong out there at the moment. Get into the shootout. I'll get the times up for you, ladies and gentlemen, as he comes towards the end of this lap. He did where is his name? There it is. A 54.5 to get into this this shootout. 55.5 is what the current provisional pole time is. So I think he'll just be happy to match the provisional pole time, or better yet, beat that through the final corner. This has caught a few drivers out so far. Adam Elzine looks very tidy through there at all. The Porsche very planted, a little bit on the grass at the exit there. That should be okay though. Round the final corner, what is it going to be for the Pinnacle Motorsports driver? Is it provisional pole? It is provisional pole, a 55.3 for the 16 car, and he jumps 2 tenths clear of Braden Henderson. That is a mega lap for the young man. What a result. And now we hand over proceedings to our reigning champion, Matthew Donetti, currently battling what he believes is tonsillitis. So not very well at the moment, but he is soldiered on here for qualifying this evening. It has not slowed him down. A 54.2 to get into the shootout. He's looking quick out there, John.
I mean, when is Matt not looking quick? The annoying so-and-so that he is. But yeah, no, he's done well so far. And the fact that he's got tonsillitis now, he's like, I really don't need these extra bits of information that prove just how much of an alien this man is. I'm going to be honest. But no, he's doing an absolutely magnificent job. And I do think he is going to be a serious contender for the front 2 rows. Can he overturn the Porsches, though? And if the Porsches make a mistake, it's possible, but I think it's an uphill battle here for Donetti. I think what he's aiming for here is front 2 rows and try and get the job done with strategy in the race next week. He'd love to take pole position, I'm sure, and that's what he's going to be gunning for. But these Porsches have been dominant, not only today, but all season. So yeah, Donetti, he's got an uphill battle. If I was going to be a betting man, I wanted to pick a racehorse out with the Porsches, Donetti certainly would be someplace I would hang my hat. But I do think 3rd place is what he's aiming for here, and he has definitely got the capabilities of doing it.
He certainly does. He is wringing the neck out of this car at the moment. Everything that he can do to maximise the pace. There is only a handful of drivers remaining in this session. Matt Simmons, this man on screen, and Josh Struick yet to set a time. Bowen Piper will not be setting a time in this session. He invalidated earlier on. But it all lies now with the defending champion, the number 1 on the door. Can he go number 1 here at the back end of the top 10 shootout through the final couple of corners? Nicely across the curves. Maybe a little bit conservative there. I saw him just throttle out again, have a second go at making that corner. Round the final corner now for Matt Donetti. What is it going to be for the BCG driver? It is provisional pole by a fair margin as well. 7 tenths clear of Adam Elzine. A 54.6 for the number 1 car. That is an absolutely mega lap.
Yep, that is an absolute spanker that Donetti's put in there, and in the mid 54s, which is it's where we were expecting him to set that time. Certainly expected a lot of times to be in the 54s here in the top 10 shooter, but the 34-degree track temperature has put paid to that as Struick comes out in his pours. But Donetti certainly laying down an absolutely solid marker with that 54.6. That is going to be a time the Porsches are going to need to beat. Rather than just going out and setting a time, they really do need to beat that time, as Struick now comes out to take his. It'll only be Matt Simmons left to go after that, and he is also, of course, in the Porsche. But Donetti with the tonsillitis, provisional pole with 2 drivers left to go. So that 3rd place that I said he was aiming for, he is guaranteed to finish at least, or to start in at least 3rd place. It's all the pressure on the Porsche pairing, though, to try and take pole position from him.
Yeah, he'll be super happy with that, no doubt. But what can this man do? And Matt Simmons also yet to come in this session. So 2 more drivers to set a time. We focus on this man on our screen. Down through the Dunlop curve. This is very, very tidy from the current championship leader, Josh Struick. He has 5 poles to his name so far this season. Can he make it 6 this evening? Set himself up for next Friday when we go racing for 2 hours around this circuit. An endurance race at its best. I could think of no better place to have our endurance this season. Very, very tidy. Nice apex there for Josh Struick. Down the back straight now towards the final chicane again. Just caught a few drivers out. A couple drivers have invalidated their times through here. Can he get through here unscathed? Throws it in. You can hear the car revving so much. He just slams down the gears through the final corner. What will it be for the 33 car? Can he stick this car on provisional pole towards the line for Josh Struick? He goes to provisional pole at 54.3 for the CP Motorsports driver. 3/10 clear of Matt Zinetti, and the times continue to tumble out there. That is a mega lap from our championship leader. And if there was ever any doubt that he was going to get anywhere near that time of Matt Zinetti, he has absolutely blown it out of the water. The times are quick, and now the pressure goes to this man. He is very, very experienced in the world of sim racing and real life racing. I would be foolish to believe this isn't a track that he's raced out in real life. I'd say it's very well could be a track that he has driven around in real life, so he knows it fairly well. Matt Simmons, what can he do with his shootout lap? Can he stick this car on pole? It will be Josh Struick.
Yeah, it's very competitive up at the top of the field. Zanetti putting down that marker of the 54.6. So the two drivers that coming after him, they know, or they knew. Struick knew, Simmons knows he needs to put in a quick lap time here. We've seen 54.0, so he has gone quicker in this session, no denying that, certainly. But he's going to need to put it all together here to make sure that he gets past not only Zanetti, but Struick as well. And it's a good time from Struick, considering we have seen everyone go a bit slower here in session 3, which has been a surprise to me, given the track temperature has improved. It's come down. It's almost like the cars are not enjoying the reduced track temperature, but certainly it has made it a spicy meatball, to say the least, for the qualifying session. Hutton Tower, yeah, so everyone did put a lap down eventually, but of course the drivers that were invalidated, those ones won't count. Lone Piper, of course, not with one. But yeah, Simmons, last driver out here on track, 34-degree track temperature, so it has stayed effectively the same for him. The same for all the drivers. There's just going to be a little bit more rubber out on track, and he's already down towards Ad Van Bogen. So Simmons, sounds good going past Ad Van Bogen, certainly.
Certainly looks good through Ad Van Bogen into the NGK chicane for Matt Simmons. He stuck this car on provisional pole at Q2. He's on the grass there on the exit of the chicane. What is it going to be for the 8 car? Can he stick this car on pole? It will be Josh Struick across the line for Matt Simmons. He doesn't get on pole. He will start second next Friday. 3/10 slower than Josh Struick, and the CP Motorsports driver makes it pole at number 6 for the season. 3 in a row. Matt Simmons, you have to feel like possibly getting on the grass there at the end would have cost him a little bit of time. We'll have a look at the sector splits, and you can see there it didn't cost him a whole heap, but he wasn't quick across pretty much every single sector there. Josh Struick owning all 3 sectors of the lap. He was just quick everywhere this evening, wasn't he? A massive effort for Josh Struick, and what a lap.
Yeah, he's absolutely nailed that. He's taken all 3 purple sectors, their complete dominance in the final session to go 3/10 ahead of the rest of the field. Only a 1/4 tenth of a second separating second from third place. That's how close that was. But yeah,
close.
Struick, yeah, absolutely nailing it, and he's got himself an absolutely solid pole position. Another pole position. He has just been on absolute fire in these qualifying sessions, and it's easy to see why he is the championship leader at the moment, Isaac.
Yeah, he is just absolutely showing this Porsche is so quick. No weight around here for the Porsche either, so 0 kilos on board, and that's confirmed. That's the balance of power around here. There is no weight. 14 kilos taken out of the Audi, but it just doesn't seem like it's enough to respond to the pace that Porsche has. And wow, what a session. We're hoping we can get some drivers in to have a chat, and we absolutely can. But just before we do, run through those results. So this is how they'll start. The top 10 on Friday next week. Josh Struick secures pole position with a very, very good 54.3. Matt Simmons in P2. Then it's Matt Donetti, Adam Elzine on the second row as well. Braden Henderson and Aiden Holton will share row number 3, 5th and 6th. Mark Hurley, Nathan Hutton. So Mark Hurley with the Pro-Am pole position. Nathan Hutton in second, but Mick Toward in third, and then Bowen Piper, unfortunately, invalidating his lap time, will start position number 10, which is not the end of the world, but still would have liked to be higher up. All right, it is time to have a chat to some drivers, and we will get them in here. We're going to start with the man that's qualified on Pro-Am pole position, and it is indeed Mark Hurley. Now, Mark, welcome in, mate. First of all, congratulations, Pro-Am pole position. That looked like a very, very tough shootout session.
Most certainly was, but I, just kept to my guns and just drove it straight as possible through there.
Yeah, it looked like a difficult lap. We saw a couple drivers coming unstuck in that final chicane. How did the car feel for you through there? Obviously, you don't want to use too much of those curves, but it looked fairly planted.
Yeah, it did, but it did slightly jump to the left. I thought I was going to go over the ripple strip on the left for a little bit there, but I managed to hold it off. So you get through the last corner, thankfully, and got it home in one piece. I'm wrapped.
Yeah, well, that's and we've been confirmed. We have an anonymous donor, which has actually doubled the prize money for the pole awards for this race. So you actually have $50 coming your way as well for the pole position this evening. So congratulations. Hopefully you can turn that into a win next Friday. How do you approach that race next Friday? 2 hours. It's going to be a long race. There'll be 2 mandatory pit stops from what I understand. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Because 2 hours around here is a long time.
It most certainly is, but I've done it before, so I'm quite capable, of doing okay in it. So I'll just do what I need to do, and just do consistent good laps.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to seeing what you can do next Friday. Congratulations once again. Before we let you go, mate, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
I'd just like to say thanks to you guys for the great stuff that you do. It's all great. It's awesome. Thanks for everyone in the top 10. That was awesome stuff. There was too many quick guys in there. Bad luck to Piper for buggering up his lap. Otherwise, I reckon he would be sitting where I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in any case, you're on Pro-Am pole and inside the top 10. Looking forward to seeing what you can do next week, mate. But have a good rest, and we'll see you next Friday.
No worries, and go the Ferrari.
Forza Ferrari. Well, John is very happy about that one. And that is Mark Hurley, your Pro-Am pole sitter. We bring in now, and I'm going to hand over to you, John, for this one, because I know he's a favourite of yours. It is P3, the top Audi in this race. The only Audi in this qualifying session, Matt Donetti.
Good evening, Matt. How are you doing?
Dying, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's not. It's so annoying that you can even ill with tonsillitis. You're still managing to clock 54s around the Nürburgring. It's just... Have you got no shame at all, Matt, is the question I'm really looking to ask.
Of course I don't. I just got a big ego that I continue to inflate,
I love it. I was actually just saying to Isaac, my quickest time around here on PC is a 54.8. And even Matt Donetti does a 54.6. How did you find the qualifying session? I want to ask about the 3. We saw the track temperature come down over the 3 sessions, but in the 3rd session, it did seem like the lap times were a bit slower. Was that something to do with the track itself, or do you think, was it a juggling match of trying to make sure you get to the end, but still be quick?
No, the track was fine. I mean, you can probably see from, Jish and myself and Matt. I think a lot of people may have just got the pressures wrong, because from the start of quali, I think we lost about 4 degrees total. So I think it'd be a bit of mix of nerves and tire pressure simulator. So get a little bit off those tires, and the first lap's just always hopeless. So
Yeah, and how did you feel with your lap in the top 10 there? 54.627. You were only a quarter of a tenth behind one of these killer Porsches that we've seen in the league. So how did your top 10 lap go?
yeah, it was fine, right? Like, it was just a nice safe lap. I only lost a tenth in each sector, so I'm not too upset with it. The Porsche in the first sector is going to be a nightmare to try and get ahead of, I think, in the race. But it's a long race, so anything can happen. But no, I'm happy. It's probably as good as I could have went with the Audi, I think.
Yeah, nice. And how are you looking forward to the race next week? As you've just alluded to, the Porsche is going to be a tricky one to overtake, certainly in Sector 1 and potentially Sector 3 as well from some of the times that we've seen. But how are you eyeing up your chances in the Audi next week?
Well, now that it's next week, I'm feeling a lot better about it. I wasn't looking forward to doing 2 hours on Sunday in the way that I sort of feel at the minute. But no, I am never really a good qualifier, which is going to sound silly to say, but I think my pole statistics are actually really poor. So I've never been a qualifier, more of a racer. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, we are certainly looking forward to it as well. I'm sure CP Motorsports would rather the race was this weekend when you're a bit more under the weather. But yeah, we'll certainly be looking forward to next week because the battle between BCG and CP up at the top is absolutely heating up, Matt, and we are definitely here for it.
Nah, I'm looking forward to it, guys. Yeah, have a good rest of your evening, and I'll hopefully talk to you next week. And if I don't, then as I usually say, something's gone pretty wrong. So.
Well, and yeah, very quickly before he goes, is there anyone that you say hello to or give a shout out to?
Simon, I miss you. Come back, please. Being the only Audi is very lonely. So please come back soon. And always, in-laws that always watch every round. It's always the main shout to go to because I don't think they ever miss a round. So.
Yeah, fully dedicated, and we absolutely love it. There's even calls in the chat to nerf all Porsches. We'll see if that one gets past the administration or not. But Matt, congratulations on taking third place today in the top 10. It was an almighty effort, especially considering the tonsillitis, and absolute best of luck next week in the 2 hours at the Nürburgring.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
And Isaac, you want to cue us up with our next one?
I absolutely will. I'll jump back in for this one. It is the man that finished in P2 after being the last man out in the shootout, but it was a very competitive session. It is, of course, Matt Simmons. Matt, welcome in. Congratulations, front row of the grid. I'm sure it's would have loved to have stick it on pole, but P2 still a really, really strong result heading into the 2 hours next Friday.
Yeah, it's fun just doing the shootout anyway. It's your adrenaline's high and all that. So I saw Struick did a 54.3, and in one of my shootout practices I did in Q2, I did a 54.3, so I was like, that's going to be very hard to beat. And then I made it even harder after Sector 1, absolutely making a meal of it, that I was like, oh, let's try and hold on to P2, which I managed to do. But no, tonight was good. I felt really strong all throughout. I kept getting quicker and quicker from Q1 into Q2 and then tried to carry it through to the shootout, but wasn't to be. But well done to Jish on getting pole again. He seems to be absolutely nailing his quali, and obviously Danetti, it was tight for us in the top 3 there. And keen for next Friday for the Enduro.
Yeah, well, talk to us about how you're feeling about that. So 2 hours around here. I believe it's 2 mandatory pit stops. I mean, I say I believe, I should know, I make the rules, but it's two mandatory pit stops for that race. How do you approach that one? Is it sort of just go from the start, or do you think about your strategy and play it a little bit smarter? Obviously, we know that the typical strategy here will probably be 45, 45, 45, but do you try and do something different, throw everyone off? I don't want you to give away all your secrets, but just talk us through how you approach a 2 hour race like that.
Really comes down to what happens on lap 1, and if I absolutely make a mistake somehow and I get damage, I'm in the pits lap 1. No, if I can avoid damage, then it's a pretty straightforward strategy, to be honest. I've done hour races here, and you chew the tires, like it's really hard. So I appreciate you putting the minimum 2 stops. We need that, so thank you.
You're welcome.
But yeah, Well, it's really just going to be trying to manage that tyre towards sort of last 10 minutes of each of those stints. It's going to be sketchy. The Porsche is great, but it does, as I think you've heard throughout the season with both myself and Josh, that we've had towards the end of the stint, the car gets a bit sketchy. So it's just going to be hanging on, making sure, if I can try and get into the lead, see how we go. But I'm sure it's going to be a close battle the whole way. Between most likely the top 5, if not more, and it should be a good race for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, looking forward to seeing what everyone can do. Obviously, with the bit of the mixed up strategies that might come out of the race next Friday, and obviously congratulations to yourself again for qualifying on the front row. Before we do let you go, Matt, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
I'd like to give a shout out to my French bulldog Hank. He's always sitting next to me, and he's very, very good companion. He always gives me a couple of tenths, so I appreciate that. He helped me tonight. Just need to work on my shootout, which he's not impressed with. So I'll give him a shout out. But other than that, thanks team. We'll catch everyone Friday night.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to seeing you Friday night, seeing what you can do from the front row. So thanks very much for your time, Matt. Greatly appreciated.
Cheers, guys.
It is Matt Simmons there, second place, starts on the front row. Alongside this man, who I'm going to hand it over to you, John, to have a chat to, it is Josh Struick, who goes 3 in a row and 6 pole positions for the season. I feel like we just can't stop this man, John.
No, I don't think anybody can. I've heard that Matt Dernetti was sneaking about the back of the post trying to put extra sandbags in. Clearly came to no avail. But Josh, an absolutely dominant performance tonight. You took the fastest time in 2 of the 3 sessions, and of course, most importantly, took it in session number 3 there with a 54.3 in the final session there to take pole position. Yet another pole position. You must be feeling good after that.
Yeah, I'm feeling quite good. I feel like I put the lap together quite well, considering a few hours before the shootout lap, I was struggling with the setup still. So I feel like I managed to get it together and work it out, and just put it together nicely.
Indeed, yeah, we've seen the Porsches go strong out here. A lot of the times in session 3 were a bit slower, but then of course the usual suspects popped up at the top there, putting that 54. P2 in the Porsche was a pretty quick time. How were you feeling going out? Because of course you went out second last with the driver to go. How were you feeling about your time with 1 to go?
Well, like with my lap time that I set.
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, you went out 9th, and then Matt Simmons went out 2nd. So you'd set your time and had to sit and wait for Simmons to set his. Another Porsche driver. Were you feeling confident at that point that you were going to take pole positions, or were you expecting? Because Simmons did take the top spot in Q2, so it was very close between the 2 of you.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say I was confident. I mean, I knew it was a good time. But I also knew that Matt had been equal, if not quicker than me, all day. So I knew he could do it. It's just a matter of if he put the lap together. In the end, I managed to get it, and he didn't quite put it together. So yeah, very happy.
Yeah, and talk to us as well, Josh, about the type. I mean, for someone like yourself, there probably isn't any pressure. I'd imagine you were annoying, as calm as a coma during that session, but you've taken a lot of pole positions so far. Talk to us about the difference in something like this. There's that 1 lap shootout for the top 10. You get 1 flying lap. You've got 1 chance. There's no fallback. There's nothing like that. How does that change your approach? And what is the pressure like when you're taking part in a top 10 shootout with 1 solo lap to set a time?
Yeah, no, it's actually completely different. Normally you have time to build up to the lap, get the tires in the right window over multiple laps, and your time to the nerves go after the first lap or 2. But in the shootout, there's none of that. You're going in after like 10 minutes of sitting around waiting for your turn to go out. So you've got the adrenaline going. You've got a little bit of the nerves. It's very different, and there's always a lot more pressure in that one lap scenario.
Indeed, well, yeah, it's pressure that you've absolutely soaked up there. All 3 purple sectors as well, which is the first time that we've seen that today. It's a rarity, even here at AGT. So it really was a heroic lap that you got in to take the pole position. We, of course, now turn our attention to the race next week. 2 hours, 2 mandatory pit stops, and a whole lot of tarmac to cover here at the Nürburgring. How are you feeling ahead of that? And anything special planned for the strategy, or is it just gun it? Because we have heard Matt Dernetti say the Porsches are going to be difficult to overtake around here. So a bit of confidence going into next week, I would say.
Yeah, I think it will be good. I think I'm not sure about the Porsches being hard to overtake. I mean, maybe on lap time they'll be quick. I'm sure the Audi will have the top end over us, as per usual. But yeah, I think it'll be. Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think I'll have to really watch out for Simmons. I think he's going to be very quick, just like he has been today. Same with Dernetti. He's going to be very quick as well. I think it's going to be quite even between all of us, and probably quite a good race.
Yeah, I absolutely cannot wait for next week. It's going to be an absolute barn burner, as we say. But yeah, Josh, huge congratulations. Yet another pole position here at AGT ACC Season 3. The gift that keeps on giving. And yeah, before we let you go, anyone that you want to shout out to or say a thank you to before you disappear off, and I'm sure get some practice in for next week.
Yeah, probably thanks to Greeny for one entering me into the league, but 2 giving me like the baseline setups to start from. It's a big help and a big time saver. So yeah.
Well, nice one, Greeny. Although I'm sure there's competitors in the field that'll be less than happy with Greeny at the moment, given the pace of your show. But Josh, again, huge congratulations. Another pole position here at AGT. I'm sure it doesn't get boring taking the top spot honours. And of course, thanks to our anonymous donor, double the prize money for the top spot. So I believe it's $100 will be winging its way to you as well. So some celebratory drinks could well be on the menu. So congratulations once again, Josh. And we very much look forward to seeing you perform next week in the race.
All right. Thank you.
There we go then, Isaac. That was Josh Struick. Another pole position. He is an absolute machine. And next week's race is going to be incredible.
It is going to be absolutely cracking, and I cannot wait for what lays ahead of these drivers as we get set to go in just over a week's time. That'll be it for this evening, folks. We thank you so much for your company. And we will be back next Friday for the second portion of this. So as you can see here on our screen, that is not what I had at all. Where is my next round? I've actually lost it. So I will have to find it and get it up at a later time. But yes, that is all we have time for this evening. We thank you so much for your company on behalf of myself, John, and everyone here at AGT TV and TrackSpotTV. We thank you so much for your company. We also do thank TrackSpotTV for their partnership in this broadcast and coming on board to help us make these happen. If you need any commentary or broadcasting, head over to www.trackspot.tv. Say good day to the team. Or indeed, if you want to try your hand at commentary, we have plenty of opportunities over there for you to come along and get involved. But until next Friday, we will leave you to it. We hope you have a wonderful week. We will see you this time next week. We'll get ready to go racing at 7:30 p.m. Well, that's when they'll start their formation lap. 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So mark your calendars. We will be back live from 7:25 next week Eastern Standard Time. We will see you then, but for now, stay safe, look after one another. We'll see you very soon. Bye for now.
Been trying to change what I've been trying to say. Words don't come straight.